everybody, and welcome into the final Mountaineer Postgame Show of the season. West Virginia gets blanked in the regular season finale, 49-0 against number 5 Texas Tech. A look here at the numbers. Scotty Fox went 13 of 23 on the day for 98 yards, had the interception. A couple of other quarterbacks got into the game as well. Khalil Wilkins, Max Brown. Those two went a combined 2 of 8 for 16 yards. Just absolutely nothing going for West Virginia on the ground as we expected. Going for 37 yards on 22 carries. That's good enough for a 1.7 yards per carry average. Texas Tech, meanwhile, had their way with the Mountaineers on the offensive side of the ball. They went a combined 17 of 24 on third and fourth down opportunities, one of which was a fake punt. We'll talk about that here in a second. But just flat-out dominance from start to finish. Gene, it didn't ever feel like there was a chance for something crazy, something magical to happen really after the first, I don't know, 2-3 drives maybe. It felt like that idea went out the window very quickly.
It was tough to watch. I have to admit it was tough to watch. It's difficult when your first 3 to 4 series, your opposition scores. It puts you in such a tough position offensively because now whatever your game plan was when you're on offense, you almost have to abandon the run to try to score some points, and you're trying to do that through the passing game, and that's not working. Then what do you have? It was tough. It was a tough game to watch, and I'm sure Rich and that staff, along with the players, probably feel the same exact way. It was never a point in that game where you kind of felt after the first 3 possessions where West Virginia had an opportunity to come back and do anything in that game. So as a former player, as a former alumni of the university, yeah, that was tough.
It was. And I think the thing that's most disappointing, it wasn't the score or the differential in the game. To me, it was just the effort. I honestly, Gene, I was not very pleased, as I would think Rich Rod would be either, with the effort in this game. And I think you saw for the last month guys scrapping, fighting, clawing for yards on offense and blocking and really trying to do their best. Even though they may be outmanned or they may have a disadvantage, they were still trying their best defensively too. It just felt like there wasn't any push. They were taking bad angles, a lot of reaching, a lot of grabbing. You know what that is? That's lazy. When you're starting to reach and grab, that's lazy technique. And it happened right out of the chute. It wasn't, a quarter into the game or a few possessions in the game. It was right out of the chute, both offensive and defensively. And it felt like there was a lack of dialed in. I don't know how to better say that, but it just felt like the effort was not there whatsoever today.
Well, I'm sure. Listen, the one thing about a Rich Rod coach team, effort is key. And effort comes in abundance on all 3 phases in the game: offense, defense, special teams. And I have to agree with you. That effort was lackluster, and I am sure that's going to be something that he will point to during the offseason. And I'm sure that that's something that he wants to build better chemistry with. Like, that should never happen. And it's hard. You know what's funny, Schuyler? They showed that they had nothing to play for.
Yeah.
That type of lack of effort. They showed that. Now, into this, I think 34, 35 seniors, if I'm not mistaken.
Around there, yeah.
Somewhere near. I don't care if you don't have a bowl game to prepare for next week. Okay. The one thing that I've always been prone to is let's make sure we send these seniors out the right way. And I'm sure Rich, that staff, no one they can't be happy with this type of lackluster performance. When was the last time West Virginia got blanked in a game? Was it back in the 60s?
Honestly, I think the last one that I remember, and I don't know if there's been one since, was the Maryland game in 2013. 37-0 over in Baltimore in the neutral site game. I can't remember. I don't think there's been one since. But yeah,
I heard somebody say this, and that could have been a wrong stat. Somebody had said this on the telecast that it was like back in the 1960s, but you may be right.
Maybe it was at home. Maybe it was at home because that one was a neutral site game. I don't know. I know Maryland was a shutout, but you even had, I don't know if you saw it, Gene, after the interception by Max Brown, Cam Vaughn. What the hell are you doing? And he just keeps jogging towards the end zone. The play's going this way, and just completely gave up on the play. Did not have any effort whatsoever, and did not go back on the field. I don't know if he checked back in after that, but I know the following series on offense, he was not back on the field. You cannot have that happen even when it's your best players doing it. How do you handle that situation if you're Rich Rod? Because you know the kid is supremely talented. He's got a very high ceiling. But when he does something like that, it goes against every bit of words and message that has been preached from him and his staff all season long. How do you handle that situation? And is that something that you say, you know what, Cam, that can't happen here and you got to go? Or like, do you say, we'll let it slide? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, no, that type of behavior, no, you can't let that type of stuff slide. Because if it slides for one, then that means it slides for all. And that's not the way Rich coaches. That's not even in his temperament. So that's a conversation. That's a direct coach to player conversation, regardless of the relationship. It is what it is. Let's sit down and let me ask you a question. Cam, what were you thinking here? What was going through your head? Because you already know I coached you at Jack State. You already know what I expect. So is this your expectations of yourself? Because if it is, that doesn't fit what we do here moving forward. And I don't think you would want to put that on film. No matter where you play, do you want to put that type of lackluster performance on film? See, so for me, that's a conversation where it's let me help you better yourself.
Yeah.
Want a coach to look at that. I don't care what the score could have been 90-0.
Yeah.
Effort. And you want to know what? Success is built on personal things, Schuyler. I don't know. Yeah, I'm disappointed in seeing that, and I'm sure the staff. There's no words to describe that.
Yeah, there's really not. It's a tough situation. I don't know if this means that his future in Morgantown could be in that. I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because that's a bunch of speculation. But it's certainly something that could, it will pop up in this exit meeting that they have with the coaching staffs here in the next day or so. And maybe that does, like, bring up a conversation of like, hey, is this going to work out for you here? I think that's going to be talked about, but we're not going to speculate on that situation because we don't know what that's going to end up being. But um, Joey McGuire, they faked the punt up 42-0. I understand that West Virginia was basically inviting Texas Tech to say, "Hey, just go ahead and fake it," because the numbers were not there. They were not matched up with what Texas Tech was aligning. But I don't care if that's the case or not. You're up 42-0. You punt the damn football. You know what I mean? Like I maybe that's just me, but the game's in hand. You ended up going down and scoring on that drive. Like it's just it was cheap in my opinion. But I don't. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's my biggest takeaway because it clearly wasn't. They're clearly the much better football team. They can do whatever they want when they're up, and I know there's some people that fight back against that and say, you know what, if you don't want them to do it, then stop it. But still, I don't know.
Well, I'll share this with you on that. That goes to show you how well coached Texas Tech is. Because I listen, we had plays when I coached the same exact thing. If we have the numbers and it's automatic, and you see that they're not adjusting to what we're doing, even if it is a punt, if we have the numbers, that play is automatic.
Yeah.
So again, you know what that is? That's paying attention to detail. That's a well-coached football team. That is your unit understanding that we had the numbers. They were out leveraged in that particular formation, and we're going to do what we've been coached to do.
And honestly, I don't know. We haven't heard anything from Joey McGuire yet, but that may have been something that he would have been like, "Hey, let's just punt it anyways." And they were just so trained to do that, and they just did it anyways, not realizing the score. You know what I'm saying? So, or they knew the score, but
Yeah.
they it was just like clockwork for them.
To be honest with you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing: once you start second guessing what you've been trained to do, that becomes problematic.
Yeah.
right?
That's
So you do exactly what you've been coached to do. If the score was 90-0, look, if that's the way that's how we coached it. Once you count across and you see that they have not adjusted, you do exactly what the play is indicated to do in that particular situation. Now, you if you noticed the second time around when they lined up in that, okay, now West Virginia adjusted. I guarantee you, if West Virginia did not adjust, they would have did the same exact thing. It would have been another fake punt.
Yeah, I know that's something that Rich Rod's going to be ticked about because at the end
Yes.
of the day, it is something you can control. If you didn't want them to fake it, regardless of the score, then get lined up, be where you're supposed to be, and that's again the paying attention to the small little details that obviously may not have made a difference in this game, but it's still something that needs to be harped on. Lastly, here before we round out the show, Scotty Fox again, his day not great, 13 and 23 as we mentioned, didn't even hit 100 yards, had the interception where it honestly looked like he had already predetermined where he was going because Cam was heading up the field. He looked like he was throwing it much shorter, like a quick hitch or something. And it almost looked like he was throwing the ball before he even looked to even see what was over there. And look, it's a true freshman mistake. Everyone's out there talking about, oh, West Virginia's got to go sign the big time guy in the portal now. I'm not suggesting that that's what they go do, but I'm also not suggesting that they completely ignore the position in the offseason. Gene, my stance on it is this. Regardless of what happened today, you need to go out there and get a veteran quarterback that has some experience that can compete and push Scotty in
Right.
2026 because that room as a whole is not where it needs to be. And even
Right.
if you believe Scotty's the guy, you have to have an insurance policy. And I'm not sure that's on the roster right now. So you have to go out there and get him. But I'm not here saying that like he can't be the guy in 26 like a bunch of other people are. Folks, this was the one of the best defenses in the country across the board. He had one healthy true running back, and this was against one of the top defenses in the last 10 years against the run. Nevertheless, this season. So,
Right.
and his team didn't help him out. The surrounding pieces, wide receivers outside of Jeff Weimer did not help him out. The offensive line did not help him out. There was no running game. What were you expecting? So it it was just really good on really bad, and you had a true freshman quarterback in that situation. To me, that's what it was probably going to look like more often than not.
Well, let's be clear. Listen, we talked about this in the preview, right? In the preview show. Texas Tech is probably one of the more complete teams in the entire country. So let's be clear, right? So even if, let's say, if everything was equal, that was going to be a tough football game.
Yeah.
All right. Period. You have a freshman quarterback, to your point, playing against a really, really solid defense. In every position on that defense, Tech is solid. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the championship game for them. I want to, you know what I mean, against BYU. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the college playoffs, all of that stuff, right? But I'm gonna share this. Scotty Fox is a very, very capable quarterback. I don't care if he's a freshman or not. He's a very good quarterback. Today just was not his day for all of the reasons and all the different variables as you just mentioned. You do not throw, because here's the thing that fans do, and I get it.
It's recency bias.
Come on, you can't. The bottom line is a healthy Joe Namath could have been back here today. You would have got the same output. It is what it is. Like, these things happen. But again, these things shall pass. I'm already looking forward to next season.
Yeah, I mean, a week ago he threw for 353 against Arizona State, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, before the bye week, and he has two 300-yard performances under his belt. He has a win over a ranked team on the road.
Right.
So, I mean, those three games, that should tell you right there, the kid's got something. Now you just got to go help him out. Give him some protection, give him some playmakers at running back and receiver and tight end, and give him a better ecosystem to work with. It's not that you have to go out and spend top dollars in the portal. You still need to go get a quarterback. I'm not disregarding that. You have to go get another one. But I still believe he can be the future, whether that's 26 or maybe you go get a guy that's a 1 year bridge and Scotty sits and learns. Again, you're going to have to get him to sign off on that plan, which is not easy in this day.
Man,
But one way or another, you have to get another quarterback in here to at least give you an insurance policy and some more competition in that room.
so real quick, before we close out, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is over. Okay, getting in a 1 year bridge and an insurance policy so he can sit back and learn, that is over. That kid will be out of here quicker than I had hair. Because the deal is, Scott, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. See, that's the thing. This is not, I would say college football of old, which is interesting. With this transfer portal and dollars floating around everywhere, seemingly falling out of trees, you roll over in your sleep, you got a bag of money. Listen, that premise of we'll bring somebody in, no, not after you done took a big bite out of the apple. This kid has already proven he's a Division I big time college quarterback. Because if you can do that, multiple 300-yard games, you beat a team on the road, a ranked team on the road where you played well. If you can do that under the scrutiny that he was under as a true freshman, imagine what you can do in a situation where those pieces are already simulated for you.
Preach it.
So, no, if he's so my point is, that would not be my game plan. I'm so sorry. Scotty, here's the ball. Now, next year, we're going to get you some help. We're going to put some things around you. We're going to add some pieces to your game to make sure we can help protect you, keep you clean, and let you do what you do. Look, Schuyler, Scotty, here's the ball. All right now.
Look, I
Look,
believe in
hey, Schuyler, let's be smart about this.
Yeah, you can't have a talented young quarterback walking out the door just because you are not thrilled with what he did today. Like, again, recency bias is real. After the TCU game, everyone's like, okay, well, let's see what he does against a really good team on the road. Well, he followed that up by beating that really good team on the road and got his first ranked win. And then threw for 353 2 weeks ago, gave you an opportunity. He's going to look like a young quarterback at times when you don't have a lot of the pieces around him. It makes it even more magnified, but he's a young quarterback. He's going to go through some growing pains. And I think folks are just way too narrow focused and thinking, oh my goodness, this is what he did today, then he can't be the guy next year. No, come on, get real. Look at what he did, look what he had to work with, and just imagine what he can do, like you said, Gene, when he has some help around him.
Absolutely. Hey, Scott, do me a favor. Before we close this out, I know we got to go. Listen, I want to clarify something because I read in the comment and I was trying to respond. Someone had said, I don't know if Eugene Napoleon has watched where Rich Rod has been after he left West Virginia in his first stint. Let me clarify a few things. First off, I'm not a petty person. You know me, Scott. You know me for years. But I do like to clarify. Okay. Yes, sir. I have watched where Rich Rod has been since he's left West Virginia in the first stint. Here's the deal. The Michigan job, first off, was a dream job. For anybody, that would have been a dream job. Okay. The way he left, do I agree with it? No. I don't think anybody did or would have agreed with the way he left. But you don't stop someone from taking an opportunity. That's one. Two, sir, and I'm talking to the person who left the comment. Sir, when you sign a 4-year deal to go coach against Ohio State, I'm just going to say it that way, right? You take the Michigan job, you're coaching against Ohio State. Okay. You have to win 50% of that on those 4 years. That means you got to win 2 of those games, 2 perfectly in a row. Okay. If you don't, you are gone. That's just the way that rolls at Michigan. Okay. Here's the other deal. One of the biggest reasons why that is, and Rich was not a Michigan guy. Let me be clear. you almost have to be a Michigan guy if they're going to put up with you if you lose 3 out of your first 4 years on a 4-year contract. That's 2. When he went to Arizona, I don't think people understand. Arizona was not a good program when Rich got there. They were not. Let me be clear. So he turned, as he always does, that program around with a brand new facility, multi-million-dollar facility. They won games when he was at Arizona. I know that because they recruited my son. So I knew how well they were doing at Arizona. Now, like anything else, you get there, things kind of level out. You leave there, you're out of coaching for a little bit, you become a commentator. And you're decent at that, whatever. He was working with my guy, Tom Lemming. Shout out to Tom Lemming. Okay, you get back into coaching as a coordinator, and you're doing okay. Then you get the opportunity to go and be a head football coach someplace else at a smaller level, and then you get the Jack State opportunity, and everybody knows what he did at Jack State in 2 years. Okay, you don't win 196 or 194 games. He's 194 in 135, somewhere in there. You don't win 190 games if you can't coach.
Exactly.
I don't care if that's Little League, Pop Warner, Recreation League, flag football. You do not win 194 games if you cannot coach on any level. Yeah. So whether you like him or not, Rich Rodriguez is a good football coach. Period. Whether you like him or not. So I will close out with this. Yes, I've watched his career up, down, up, down. Do I think he's going to bring West Virginia back to some type of prominence? Yes, I do. Do I think he's going to change the culture back to what we're used to seeing? Hard-nosed football? Yes, I do. Is it going to take some time? Yes, it is. Do I see that time in the very near future? Yes, I do.
Check, 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 check.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I just want to make that point abundantly clear.
Yeah.
I'll end with this. You do not win 194 football games if you are not a decent coach.
Exactly. And yes, sir. Yes, Gene has followed his career because his son was on Rich Rodriguez's staff at Jacksonville State. So, yes, he did. Let's end it on that. Mic drop. Unfortunately, again, last one of the season, 49-0, West Virginia falls. We'll have our Between the Ears morning after show tomorrow morning, and then we'll be back on our normal schedule Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll also have the post-game show for the basketball game tomorrow against Mercyhurst. And we also have the signing day special next Wednesday evening. We're going to be talking to a handful of recruits. We got 2 lined up for sure. Maybe have another 1 or 2 in the bag potentially. If not, then we'll go deeper into the analysis of the class. And then the following week, after signing day, we'll probably get Gene back on to get his thoughts on some of the football happenings with the transfer portal, recruiting, and all that stuff. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. We thank you guys for tuning in each and every single week for the Walk Thru GameDay Show, for the post-game show. Again, we know it's been an up and down, not an up and down. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, but we appreciate you guys for sticking through it with us and making sure that you hop in here every single week. So for Eugene Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Between Ears.